والهجرة الانتقال من بلد الشرك إلى بلد الإسلام. والهجرة فريضة على هذه الأمة من بلد الشرك إلى بلد الإسلام، وهي باقية إلى أن تقوم الساعة. والدليل قوله تعالى: إن الذين توفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيم كنتم؟ قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض. قالوا ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها فأولئك مأواهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا. إلا المستضعفين من الرجال والنساء والولدان لا يستطيعون حيلة ولا يهتدون سبيلا، فأولئك عسى الله أن يعفو عنهم، وكان الله عفوا غفورا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to a new video, and the topic of this video is sisters, Hijrah cannot be treated as if it is a vacation or as if it is a part of your maintenance or your rights. And the reason why I say this is because there are brothers who, I don't want to say complain, but when they are speaking about plans for moving overseas, they oftentimes mention that their wife is not on the same page, and that a lot of the burden of planning is upon him. And this is, I think this is unfortunate and it's wrong, because we as women, as Muslims, we have an individual responsibility to facilitate our own hijrah, okay? When you're married, you help your spouse, you assist him. It doesn't have to be financially, of course, but if you can, then that will help. That will be tremendous as well. But with support, you help him with support. You help him with information. You help him with research. You help him with making things easy for him. You help him by not complaining. You help him by not being difficult and being entitled or wanting the exact same thing and standard that you would have in your country of origin if you are making while you are making a transition. This is incorrect, because there are sacrifices involved. It doesn't always have to be financial, because some people do have wealth and they can afford to live at the standard that they want to, that they're used to, from one country to another. But not all sacrifices and hardships come in the form of money or in the form of standards of living. There are some uncomfortable or inconvenient situations that you will be placed in transitioning from one country to another, and patience is a must. Patience and understanding, support is a must. Also, the woman must understand that she's not on a vacation, okay? So being picky, and I don't mean, that you should allow your husband to put you in a gutter. I don't mean that, or the bottom of the barrel, or in a place where, it's unbecoming for you to live in. I don't mean this. But what I mean is, you have to work with the man, and you have to make things easy for him. And in addition to that, you as an individual Muslima, have to make your own way. And although the husband is going to bear most of the expenses, you should be facilitating your hijrah by doing research and cementing yourself in the country that you've decided to go to, just in case anything happens. And may Allah preserve, the men, the husbands of those women who are making this journey. But the reality is, and we've seen it happen, of course, especially in Egypt, husbands die, husbands divorce people. So if your husband divorces you, may Allah preserve your marriage. Or if your husband passes away, may Allah preserve him and, tawal umrah, give him a long life. What are you going to do? Is your hijrah over? Is your hijrah over? Because you maybe looked at the hijrah as maintenance. Well, this is something that he has to do for me, and that you have no contribution or no obligation in the affair. That's incorrect. That's wrong. Every last one of us is accountable and responsible to contribute to migration from the lands of disbelief to the lands of belief, of Iman. You have to, as an individual. In addition to that, it's the woman's responsibility to get her children on board, cultivate the children on being on the same page as the family. Okay? And I say this because if you want your hijrah to be long term, you must train your children's brains and their wants and interests towards integrating and looking at what they can do in the country you've chosen in order to facilitate themselves in the country. I taught my children, from when they were young, always spoke about and showed them, made them a part of the process of moving overseas and telling them that, the importance of being overseas in a Muslim country, and grooming them for college in a Muslim country, grooming them for marriage in a Muslim country. And when we came to the UAE, my daughters had started looking up jobs that they can do as teenagers, employment for teenagers, So that's you have to get your children on board. If not, if your brain is constantly, or your speech is constantly connected to where you came from, then your children are going to feel that, and they're not going to want, they basically go off the vibe that you establish in the house. So it's the woman's responsibility to also pull a lot of the weight as relates to helping her family and getting the children on board, and also her own self mentally on board, so that her and her husband can be on the same page. Now, as it relates to the women who they want to make hijrah and the man is not on the same page, I'm not going to address the men. I don't really know what to tell you as it relates to that, or what to tell the men, because I'm not a man. I don't know how the men think. But I know I am a woman, and I know how women think, and I know, what we struggle with. So that's where my advice lies. But if a woman is in a predicament where she wants to leave and her husband is skeptical, or, he doesn't really know how to put his trust in Allah, in making a move overseas, and then you have to do your best. You have to ask Allah for help, and you have to do your best, and Allah will help you, That shows you right there that there's an obligation. It's not like if the man doesn't make an effort, then you don't. Oh, well, I couldn't make hijrah because my husband wasn't on the same page. No, it doesn't work like that. If you make an effort, Allah will aid you. Allah will help you. So, yeah, that's what I have to say on the subject. Women, they definitely, you have to be on the same page. I'll give you some examples also of non-Muslims who they go over to, I'll say non-Muslim black people from America as well as the UK. They are now migrating to varying African countries, and they are telling their stories, and they are advising other people who are going to come behind them about the different hardships and inconveniences that you have to go through, and prepping them and giving them inspiration, because this is what comes along, the sacrifice that comes along with trying to leave the United States or leave the UK and have a better life as relates to your identity and preserving your or equipping yourself with a new identity, healing from the traumas that they have experienced in those Western countries, being people of color, right? And they're not Muslim, and they're giving advice like, God will help you, and don't worry about anything. Everything's going to work out fine. Of course, plan, but everything's going to work out fine. And I find it very amazing that they're not Muslim and they're moving for the sake of color and just, having an identity and want to identify with people who look like them. But then you have the Muslims who you listen to the whispers of shaitan, and they're very some, it's not everybody of course, but you have some women who they are extremely difficult, and it stresses the husbands out, it stresses the men out. The ones who are willing to work, these men work hard, but the women are being difficult, being catty, being entitled, and you're going to be held accountable for that. If you are not patient in hijrah, then the person is sinful. Why? Because hijrah is worship. And I want to raise a point. When a person makes hajj, that's worship, right? Wouldn't it be strange if a person starts to complain about the heat and the hardship that they're facing while they're on hajj, when the person already knows beforehand from the Prophet ﷺ that hajj is a jihad? Okay, so also hijrah is also a jihad. It is from the forms of jihad, because there's so many things and so many levels that you have to go through in order to obtain it. You have to be patient. Patience is a must. Trusting Allah is a must. You know what I mean? Endurance is a must. Cooperation is a must. Planning is a must. And in order for you to get to the next phase and level of your religion, you have to go through some hardships and some sacrifices, whatever that's going to look like for you, because some people, they have money, like some individuals like to emphasize, they have money. It's not about money. It's not about living below your standard. Hardships on hijrah come in different forms. It's not reduced to finances. Please understand that. It is not reduced to finances. There are other pitfalls and other tests that you're going to go through while on the journey. And you cannot complain. You cannot forget that this is worship and that it's for Allah. And you have to equip yourself mentally and spiritually with the idea that this is something I have to go through. And inshallah, when you get to the other side, you're going to be better and stronger than you were before. They're necessary evils, pretty much, that you have to go through in order to obtain something that we claim that we want. It's not easy, okay? Anything that is worth having is not easy. It's not going to come to you easy. Anything that is done for Allah is not going to come easy. Okay? It's not going to come easy at all. So it's something that must be addressed and that you have to think about. And I hope I hope that somebody benefits from this, hopefully you reflect, think, revamp, change your way of thinking, and you have a change of heart, and maybe really dig deep and analyze yourself and prepare yourself and equip yourself with what you need, and leave yourself open for growth and change and humility and humbleness, on this journey. But it's going to be very, very unfortunate for you not aiding and assisting your family. It's not. It's an individual obligation for all of us to maintain our hijrah. It's not a part of your maintenance. It's not from your rights. Because if your husband passes away, like I said, or if you get divorced, you have an obligation to maintain that hijrah. So I advise all of the sisters while they're on the journey to learn as much as you can learn in the country that you are choosing. Equip yourself with the knowledge and the anchors that you need in that country, so that you'll be equipped to stand on your own 2 feet for your hijrah. So please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I would love to hear your comments and your thoughts on this particular subject. It benefits everyone. And I will see you in the next video. Ma salama.